Good day, everyone. My name is Nanzhou Ye, and my issue is about the effects of standardized testing on teachers in Australian secondary schools. I will argue that the negative impacts of the standardized testing on teachers in Australian secondary schools outweigh the positive effects. So, in order to support my argument, I'd like to start with talking about some basic background information on my issue, and then I will analyze the negative impacts on teachers from two aspects. First is for the impacts on teachers, and the second is for the negative impacts on teaching practice. And finally, I will give some recommendations and make a conclusion. Now, I'd like to briefly introduce some basic information on the background. Nowadays in Australia, too much emphasis is put on the standardized testing, and like the NAPLAN. And there are three levels of secondary schools in different levels of socioeconomic status, and teachers play a really important role in the policy enactment. On the one hand, I believe that standardized testing has negative impacts on teachers. Firstly, it may impose much pressure on teachers, as teachers are always blamed for the decrease of the educational standards in new media coverage, and these negative comments on teachers will make teachers really frustrated. And it may make teachers' work get overloaded, as teachers have to do a lot of post-test activities, and sometimes they even have to sacrifice their own leisure time. And it may affect their future employment and reputation. What's worse, teachers suffer from top-down pressure from the government to principals, to parents, and finally to teachers. Secondly, it may lead to teachers' unethical behavior like cheating. Some teachers may convince their students not to attend the test because of their low ability, which is kind of cheating behavior of educators. And thirdly, it may spoil the relationship between teachers and the school community, parents, as well as students. The competition will occur between teachers and other staff. As a Year 7 teacher said, the standardized test really slanders schools and the teachers. And it may raise the strained communications between teachers and parents, as teachers have to spend much time explaining the test to the parents, which will make parents really anxious. As for the relationship between teachers and students, it may lead to the untrust, especially in some schools with low economic social status, as teachers know the students are in a lower level of knowledge, but they have to encourage them to do the same test. So when students fail to do the test, fail to improve their results, they may mistrust their teachers anymore. Although it may be beneficial for teachers' personal growth, as NAPA requires a really high level of thinking and the ability to analyze and interrogate data. NAPA only provides raw data, which means teachers have to spend time in analyzing, organizing it to evaluate students' performance in different aspects, which make teachers' work really stressful. On the other hand, standardized testing also have negative impacts on teachers' teaching practice. Firstly, the teaching content may be boring and shallow, as the standardized testing narrows the curriculum to subjects which are related to the test, so it may damage the depth and breadth of teaching content. And some teachers think it is irrelevant to social life of students, so it makes the class a bit boring. Secondly, many teachers will cut their teaching time to teach to the test. Thirdly, it may distort teaching approaches, as the school of students from school of different levels of social economic status have different level of knowledge, but they have to do the same test. So teachers may mainly use the teacher-centered approaches like lecture to help them to improve their results by repetitive practice for the test. So it may lead to less creativity and flexibility of the teachers' approaches. However, I think the data from the test will be an indicator to inform teachers about the weakness of students, but the results will be shown after several months after the test. It means that the data may not be valid anymore on time. So finally, I recommend that there should be various assessment approaches, especially for the assessment for learning, and the teachers should mainly focus on students' learning instead of their results of the test. And teachers' judgment on students should be paid more attention. What's more, the test should meet different students from different levels of schools. So in conclusion, I believe the negative impacts of standardized testing on teachers in Australian secondary schools outweigh its positive effects. And these are my references. That's all. Thank you.